There is nothing worse than watching a great TV show completely fall off and become terrible in its last season, so here are the best and worst final seasons in TV show history. Anyone who compares The Boys or Stranger Things' final season to the ending of Game of Thrones, I'm convinced never watch Game of Thrones, because that was a fall off on a completely different level. Like, yes, The Boys and Stranger Things final seasons have tons of flaws, but at least they're still really enjoyable episodes, great character moments within them. The ending of Game of Thrones and the entire final season really completely destroys everything that came before it. Every single thing was rushed. The reveal of who finally sits on the throne at the end was super unsatisfactory. I think it could have been done well if they gave it the proper time and care. All the great character arcs in the story, half of them got undone in this final season. Truly an unmitigated disaster. But let's switch up to some positivity, because Avatar: The Last Airbender has one of the best final seasons of all time, and I do think Book 3 Fire is the best season of the entire series. So many amazing moments and episodes in this season, and obviously it comes together perfectly in the Sozon's Comet ending. And yes, of course, I do wish we got that originally planned fourth season that the show was supposed to have, but I can't be mad with how it went out in such a spectacular way. I think it is the best season of the entire show. I definitely think The Office should have ended earlier. I think sadly the ninth and final season of the show is the weakest of the entire thing. Yes, the very final episode of the entire series is incredible, but there's lots of just super weak moments throughout this entire season. We introduced the characters of Pete and Clark, and honestly, I find them both just annoying. They really are not funny whatsoever. You still got lots of Nelly in this season, don't really care for her. Andy's super annoying here. It just kind of feels like the show had run its course at this point. Should have probably ended a season after Michael Scott left it, and this is just a very disappointing ending. But like I said, at least the final episode was very good. Marvel originally brought Loki back from the dead to give him his own TV show. I was a little weary, was hoping they didn't ruin his character, but not only was season 1 of the show great, the second and final season of Loki made it one of my favorite MCU projects of all time. It's easily in my top 10, probably close to my top 5 if we're being honest. I absolutely adored this season. They somehow gave him a second perfect character arc in the MCU. I really love the new additions we got in season 2, like Kihei Kwan was a really fun new cast member we got here. The score is absolutely off the charts, and the last episode is just a pure masterpiece. The ending gets me every single time, with Mobius and everybody being separated, just enjoying their life for the first time ever. Originally, I was going to put the Clone Wars in the best category, and I think I'm still going to do it just because the final 4 episodes of the series are some of the greatest Star Wars content of all time. It is seriously some of the most emotional stuff you'll ever get from the series. It makes Revenge of the Sith a much better film in my opinion. But then I remembered that in this final season, you also get the Martez sisters arc, which is probably some of the worst episodes of the entire Clone Wars, which is saying a lot because there is tons of terrible filler in this. So I'm going to be a little biased and still put it in the best category, even if it might not belong there because of that one arc. Another comedy I think went out in kind of a sad way is Community. Now, similar to The Office, I think the actual last 2 or 3 episodes of the final season are really solid, have some really funny moments, but overall, the last couple seasons of the show are definitely weaker. Like, the first 2 are some of the best comedy seasons in television history, in my opinion. The 4th and final season of Attack on Titan is straight up one of the best seasons of television ever. And what's crazy is that it might not even be the best season of the series. Like, I think season 3 and 4 are both absolute perfection, 11 out of 10 seasons. But season 4 is just so different from the entire rest of the show, not only because you had Mappa come in and do the animation for the series, which I actually do really love their style and animation. I think it fits perfectly with all the changes going on in the series after all the reveals you find out in season 3. Obviously, this ends in the insane 2-part finale, which is now released as a movie. And I'll really never understand the people that don't like the Attack on Titan ending. I think it is absolutely amazing, beautiful, and devastating all at the same time. I don't know how else people wanted this series to end. I know it's not over yet, but I'm still putting The Last of Us in the worst final season category, because I'm not gonna lie, for me, this is gonna be the final season of the show I ever watch. I was absolutely hooked on season 1 as someone that's never even played the games. Thought it was a great post-apocalyptic zombie story. Loved the characters. Sadly, season 2 kind of completely threw that away. Like I said, I don't know what was even true or different from the games besides one major character death that I did absolutely hate. But even besides that one moment, I was still ready to be a fan of the show. Like, Game of Thrones is my favorite series of all time. My favorite characters died all the time in that series. So one character death was not enough to turn me away from the show, but everything after that became so bad, and I'm sorry, I'm giving up on it now. I finally watched Mr. Robot for the first time last summer after only hearing insane praise for the series, and right from the very first episode of season 1, I was hooked. Season 2 lost me a little bit, but it was still solid and enjoyable, but then it just hits the ground running. Season 3 and 4 were absolutely mind-blowing. Like, there is almost not an episode in season 4 that I would not consider perfect, which is incredibly rare, but seriously, every single episode in this final season is just absolutely operating on a different level. If you haven't watched the series, do yourself a favor and watch it. I still view Netflix's Daredevil series series and Daredevil Born Again as two completely different TV shows. And I do think the Netflix series went out on a perfect ending. Season 3 is the best of that show, and all the Daredevil seasons we've gotten so far. Everything comes together so perfectly. I don't know how a TV show is ever supposed to top the I Beat You scene. It is the perfect culmination of those 3 seasons. Now, speaking of Daredevil, Marvel has a serious problem with Daredevil Born Again, and I don't know how they're going to fix it. If you want to hear all about that, click the video above my head right now, and thank you so much for watching.